Hey guys, Heather here from Tye-Dyed Iguana, and today we're going to check out the 3 most important things to look out for once the fall weather rolls in, as far as reptile keeping goes anyway. Now that the weather is getting cooler, there's some things that we need to check and make sure are all good with our animals, and a few things that we need to look out for as far as their behavior goes. So we're going to take a look at those today. The first thing you'll want to look out for during the cooler months is brumating animals. Now, when the temperatures start to drop and the days get shorter, you might notice your animals starting to slow down in both activity level and their appetite. Now, this can happen to basically any reptiles out there. This can happen to lizards, horses, snakes, basically any pet reptile you can have. Now, as far as their behavior goes, you might see that your animal's starting to sleep a lot more and not eating as much as usual. They just start to slow down. Some animals will begin to go into full-on brumation and sleep most of the time and come out rarely for an occasional bask under their heat lamp or maybe a drink, or some even come out to eat every once in a while. Now, animals will brumate even if you've got the proper temperature in their tank. Even if it's nice and warm, just because of their natural instinct, they will still go into brumation no matter what. They might even seek out a cooler part of their tank to brumate in, possibly in one of their hides in the tank. They usually like to hide out somewhere where they feel secure and safe. And as far as them stopping eating, it's perfectly okay for them to slow down. Their metabolism is slowed way down, so they don't need to eat as much. So you might see them only eat maybe once a week, once every few weeks, or a few times a month. Snakes, now they can go a pretty long time without eating. Some will stop eating for all of the winter months, and they won't eat at all. They'll eat nothing. And they usually don't change, their weight usually doesn't go down either, or there's just a very slight change because their metabolism slowed down. They're not breaking down any of that fat or weight that they gained before they started brumating, so their weight will usually stay the same. Now, if it goes way down, then you've got a problem, but usually they'll just stay stable as far as weight goes. But yeah, brumation is perfectly normal and natural for reptiles during the colder months. Some animals will go through it, some won't. It just depends on the individual. There's no rhyme or reason to it, basically. The second thing you're going to want to look out for is lower cage temperatures. Now, with cooler weather comes cooler room temperatures in your house, which means that the current heat bulbs on your tanks might not be enough to heat them properly. Those wattages of bulbs might have been good for the summer when it was warmer in your house, but now that it's cooler, you might have to bump it up. You'll want to double check your hotspot and read the temperature directly below your heat lamp on the ground. And if it reads too cool, you'll want to bump up the wattage of your bulb, or if that's not possible, you might have to add additional heating, like an additional bulb or something, to your tank. This will help bring your tank back up to the proper temperature that they'll need, and you'll be in good shape for the rest of the season until the warmer weather starts coming back, and you'll probably have to adjust it to bring the temperature back down. Now, the third and final thing you're going to want to look out for in your animal when the cooler weather is in full swing are respiratory illnesses. With cooler weather and lower temperatures, if the temperature gets too low in the tank for an extended period of time, it can bring on a respiratory infection in your animal. You're going to want to look out for things like snot bubbles coming out of their nostrils, animals holding their mouths open and having slobber bubbles in the mouth. In snakes, it's pretty obvious. They'll crawl around and have their mouths open. Sometimes they get bedding stuck in it, and you'll see like a lot of spit and slobber frothing up at the mouth. So it's pretty obvious when it comes to snakes. And you're also going to look out for raspy breathing. If you hear any wheezing or anything, or crackling when they breathe, that is a good sign of a respiratory infection. Now, if you see any of these signs in your animal, you're going to want to take it to your nearest reptile vet and get some proper treatment for it. And then to prevent this from happening in the future, you're going to want to adjust the temperature, of course, in your tank to make sure it's nice and warm enough for the animal so they don't catch that respiratory infection again.